in our sector, the user is not the buyer. Whom do I want to talk to about this? Everybody. Because if this problem was solvable by making the best product for my users, this would have been solved long ago. But the people who need this don't have the money for it. So it falls upon people who do have the money and whose responsibility it is to solve this problem. Governments to ensure that we get it to the child for free. This is actually working in the US right now. So we've signed a contract with an organization that distributes federal funding, which means that every blind child in the US that needs to learn Braille will get our technology for free. And that's the way it should be. So that's what we're trying to do in India as well. I didn't even share that I was going to appear on Shark Tank on any of my family groups until like one day before. But I didn't think anyone would be interested in a startup show.
Right.
And I got calls that day from all my far off relatives, like second cousins, third cousins of my parents and people. And they said, oh my God, we've been watching Shark Tank out of our own interest for 3 weeks now, and it's unbelievable that you're going to be on it.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to Altuni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.
And then they had this mini Shark Tank event. Like, that's actually what they called it. And we had 1 minute to pitch our ideas. So there were 4 startups. So we were a part of that also. And so I pitched for 1 minute, and everyone's like politely nodding along. And then Anand Mahindra started clapping. And he said, I love your idea, I'll invest in you. And I think it's really that, it takes me back to that first point where I've just been lucky to have people around me who believe in the most outrageous growth in the future. Whether it's investors, whether it's founders, co-founders, my colleagues that I work with, or even our early adopters and users and partners all over the world. There are 2 ways to respond to crazy ideas. One is, hey, that's crazy, that's never going to happen. And the second is, hey, that's crazy, come, let's do it together. And I've been very lucky to find those.
Superb, lovely to hear that. Sanskriti, has it ever occurred to you, or has it ever happened to you, where somebody has met you for an investment meeting where you said that this is a product that me and my team are developing, and they look at you and they say, "Aapka to college bhi pura nahi hua. Why will I just invest in your?"
Many times.
Tell us a little bit about some of those stories.
I mean,
That
from
has
the
stayed
start.
with you, and that has made you feel that I am going to prove you wrong in the longer run.
I don't think it was a lot of, I'm going to prove you wrong, because I feel in some way that is the natural reaction that you get. So I'm not surprised if anyone said that to me. We live in a period of time where you will face sexist people. So if you make it your job to change everyone's mind saying, I'll show you, I'll prove you wrong, you'll spend your entire life and you'll affect 5, 10, 15 people. But your life will be happier if you find the people that already believe in you and who don't think of you as any lesser because you're a woman. And I think that is something we also followed while as students. There will be 100 naysayers, but there'll be like 1 or 2 people who are like, okay, tell me more. It sounds silly, but tell me more. And you just have to find those people. And if that means you have to meet 500 people, then meet 500 people, That's all there is to it.
I'm standing at 2022 now. I'm starting up now, right? What are the kind of skills that I need? What are the things that I need to keep in mind before I even think of starting up?
I have found to be my most precious asset in this whole journey is the team. It was me and my co-founders, and then the team grew, and now we're about 25 strong. And I think the team makes all the difference. It can be the difference between, waking up on a Monday morning and dreading going to work versus waking up on a Monday morning, looking at a truly difficult situation and still wanting to go and show up and do something to solve it, And that's all I'll say. For me, the motivator has always been having a solid team. because the idea is exciting enough in the good times, but when you go through your troughs and rough patches, the team is what will keep you together. So find a team.
When was the time when Annie was complete and you guys started testing that product with people? Did you see the impact that you had in mind that you always thought that this product is going to solve for?
Honestly, we saw much more. I think the first Annie Smart Class was live in 2018, mid 2018, in a school in Ranchi. The next year, we actually got feedback from that school that enrollment had increased because people in the surrounding villages had heard कि हाँ अंधे बच्चों के लिए कुछ technology लगाई है government ने, तो अब हम बच्चे को भेज सकते हैं. So children that were just sitting at home and they were just kept at home, and people thought, what is the point of sending this child to school anyway? Parents had gotten their blind children to enroll them in the school because they saw a future for their child, they saw a hope. And honestly, if someone changes their mind on such a fundamental thing, that is mind-blowing to me. So braille literacy is definitely a problem that is solvable by technology. And I think we've been solving that from day one. But changing societal attitudes, that is something that we'll achieve only with scale. And to see even a glimmer of that, even in 2 or 3 families, that was, I think that's what got me hooked to scaling the product.
When you have to scale such a product, what are the kind of things that you need to actually, work on? I mean, I'm sure there are hurdles. It's not like a fintech product that you have made, right? Which a lot of investors from China are interested in. So when you are scaling your product like this, which is working especially for a particular segment, how do you go about it? Who are the people you reach to, and how do you plan your strategy for that?
In our sector, the user is not the buyer. Whom do I want to talk to about this? Everybody. Because if this problem was solvable by making the best product for my users, this would have been solved long ago. But the people who need this don't have the money for it. So it falls upon people who do have the money and whose responsibility it is to solve this problem, which is government, which is society, which is infrastructures as a whole. Like building a ramp in a building is not the responsibility of the wheelchair user. It's the responsibility of the building owner, the government that makes rules about buildings. And same goes for education. So whom do I want to talk to? It's everyone in the public. It's everyone who realizes that it is a terrible injustice that I grew up with amazing game CDs that taught me vocabulary and ABC and things like that. Children today are growing up with YouTube videos where they can learn in the best, most engaging way. And braille learning outside of our work is stuck in the same way it was taught in the 50s and 60s.
How many, if I have to ask you, how many people in India are blind right now? Do we have a data on that?
So we haven't had 2021 census, but in the 2011 census, there were more than 20 lakh students between the ages of 5 to 14 in the top urban cities of India who were going to some sort of school. So that's a very, very small segment of the total blind people, but those are the ones I can realistically teach. So minimum 20 lakh in 2011 to whatever it might be today. But I would say that's the number I want to affect on a very fundamental basis. Something like, and I believe we have that opportunity here. Like, pretty sure everyone in this room knows Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Why do we know it? Because someone made some curriculum at some point and built an educational system so robust that it is something we can all take for granted. And literacy is that fundamental pillar of society today. And so if we can actually find a way with technology to get 20 lakh, well, it's 20 lakh children, but their families, the society around them, to be a part of the workforce, it will change a lot of things in ways we don't even know.
How are you working on making sure that the product that you are making is one effective? That's for sure, that because it's designed, it's tested, you know that it's effective because you have tested on people and you have testimonials as well. But how do you make sure that you make it affordable for people also? I
think it is affordable for the parties that are buying it. And this is something about Annie in particular, which is why it has actually gotten a recommendation from Niti Aayog. and any smart class will give you learning outcomes that would have cost 5 times more to implement with traditional methods. So to get the same kind of training for students, if you employed teachers, which was the old method, and actually had every child given that much attention, it would actually cost 5 times more. So Annie is the cheapest way to actually get that impact. Annie is 20% of the cost of what it would cost otherwise. And that's in a country like India, where human resources generally relatively cheap. So on Shark Tank, we actually realized, after Shark Tank, we got an outpouring of requests from individual customers across the country that said, you know what, I can afford this, please let me buy it. So that's something we had very consciously stayed away from, thinking that nobody should have to pay this much money out of pocket. It doesn't make sense. But maybe for some people it does. And second, we are always working with governments to ensure that we get it to the child for free. This is actually working in the US right now. So we've signed a contract with an organization that distributes federal funding, which means that every blind child in the US that needs to learn Braille will get our technology for free. And that's the way it should be. So that's what we're trying to do in India as well.
Superb. Let's talk a little bit about Shark Tank now, because you brought that up.
Yes, because I brought it up.
So what exactly was the Shark Tank experience like? Were you aware that India mein Shark Tank ho raha hai and this is a good opportunity to go and present our case there and get some eyeballs, or it was a chance affair?
I think it's a bit of both. You have to make your chances, you have to make your luck. I have this great teammate who is an absolute hawk about opportunities. So we've been applying to any and every opportunity, like I said, from the get-go. If you apply to like 50, maybe 1 or 2 will go through. So for us, it was just a matter of habit, saying, oh, something interesting has come up, come let's apply for it, see where it takes us. One thing I don't think we quite knew from the get-go is how popular it would become. Like for startups, sure, for investments, yes. But for general public awareness, Shark Tank has been phenomenal. I mean, I didn't even share that I was going to appear on Shark Tank on any of my family groups until like one day before. But I didn't think anyone would be interested in a startup show.
Right.
And I got calls that day from all my far-off relatives, like second cousins, third cousins of my parents and people. And they said, oh my God, we've been watching Shark Tank out of our own interest for 3 weeks now, and it's unbelievable that you're going to be on it. So I think it got everybody excited about the startup industry, and that's truly a paradigm shift.
And Prathamesh became an instant hit. Was Prathamesh one of your, brand ambassadors, as he mentioned himself to be?
आप भी shareholder हैं क्या Annie में?
Brand ambassador.
He came up with the term, but I couldn't agree more. And I mean, hats off to his wit and presence. I just thought he was a smart student, because we actually track learning outcomes on our platform, right, Helios. So he'd always been a sharp student. We met him in 2019, and he was so smart that he learned Annie himself quickly, because we were setting up an Annie Smart class in his school. And he learned it himself quickly, and he was teaching all his classmates. So he was very talkative, very intelligent. And we thought, okay, if someone has to explain Annie to someone else, he'll do a good job. I think he's a complete charmer. I didn't know that before Shark Tank happened.
Absolutely, he is. And now that you have funding of what, 1 crore?
और हमारा final offer is 1.05 crores for 3% of the company.
Shark se deal pakki. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you have a funding of that, and specifically people like Piyush, Namita, and Anupam, I guess, right? Now that you have them on board, how has things been post Shark Tank? Has it gone in some direction that you wanted it to be?
I think definitely yes. Again, widespread public acknowledgement about the sector that we're working in is priceless. It makes life much smoother, from the simplest things, like whenever I used to take Annie through airport security, people would be like, what is this? There's a small stylus that's a pointed metal tip, right? So potentially dangerous to carry on an airplane. So we always get stopped by airport security and cross-questioned many times. After Shark Tank, we went there and they're like, hey, हमने ये देखा है, ये तो Shark Tank वाली चीज़ है. It was amazing. I think that impact is continuous. While with Namita, Piyush and Anupam, they're all very busy people with companies of their own, but they're incredibly kind and supportive to give their own personal time in advising us. So we've been getting, apart from the investment itself, we've been getting a lot of strategic inputs. And I think, the impact of that we'll only get to see in the future.
What is Sanskriti doing now to scale Annie and her company, Thinkable Labs, along with your co-founders? What is the vision and where do you want to go? What is your goal? What do you want to achieve now?
One thing I can share about the Braille industry is that the cost of building Braille cells is going down. And how? Things used to cost dramatically much more in the past. Now, due to ingenious innovation and technology, a lot of it right here in Bangalore, the cost of Braille cells is going down. That industry is shifting and changing fundamentally. And we want to create the ecosystem and the platform for content delivery across Braille devices. Of course, it doesn't help that the literacy rate for Braille is single-digit percentages around the world. But that's a problem that we're trying to solve. And that's where we want to be in terms of capturing this entire user base who's going to be consuming a lot of content throughout their life. It's our chance to be a part of their educational journey. So Annie is just the beginning for us. We want to build an entire connected ecosystem. And that leap is going to be as huge as the leap from the Nokia 1100, which sat in everyone's pocket. Massively successful product, by the way, but it's just not there anymore. And how the whole world shifted from that to smartphones, well, they're going to be smart connected Braille devices in our future. And we, as a tech company working in that space, we see the winds blowing that way, where content delivery will be key to nailing that user experience, and we're committed to being the best in the world at that.
One last question that I have for you. We at Altuni, we kind of, tell people that you need to be upskilled, you need to know the skills that is going to be beneficial for you in the time to come. And because of that, our Conversations Cafe this year round is themed as the $1 million skill. In your opinion, what is that $1 million skill that's going to, safeguard me in the coming decade that's coming your way?
Well, once again, I'm sharing my own perspective, but I think the most important skill is to figure out why you're doing something. Why do you want a certain job? Why do you want to start up? Why are you playing a certain role? Why do you want to grow a certain way? If you have that why, if you identify that why, if you know yourself that well, that is something that will truly be your beacon as you navigate any circumstance. That is, I think, the single most important skill people should have.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sanskriti. That was an enlightening session. Now is the time when we take questions.
So my question is, why Annie? Why the name Annie? Was it some conscious branding or was it any inspiration behind it?
Helen Keller is the most famous icon of disabled people that have gone on to achieve great heights. Even today, in the most remotest parts of India, if you go to a blind school, you'll find some painting or bust or statue of Helen Keller. In the remotest parts, little kids are told, to boost their confidence, saying, "Oh, Helen Keller was blind and she did all of these things. You can also achieve anything you set your mind to." And Helen Keller's teacher was Anne Sullivan. So Helen Keller learned from Anne Sullivan. So we wanted to call our device, we want to name it after Anne Sullivan. So we named it Annie. So nowadays, whenever we go to a student training, that's what we say to children. Hey, do you know about Helen Keller? They say, yes, we know about Helen Keller. We will become big. Because children have a lot of excitement about idols that they can relate to, right? So Helen Keller learned from Annie, and today you are also going to learn from Annie, and that just puts them in a different mind frame. They think they can achieve everything. So it's been, for anyone in the industry or for anyone in education for the blind, Annie is being named after Anne Sullivan is very, very obvious. It's an obvious choice. So it helps to bond with children because they all want to be as successful as Helen Keller.
Hi, I'm Manasa. This is a generic question based on all startups, I believe. So a person who wants to do startup, right? They will have a lot of ideas. How do you pick the right one? Even after Annie, you have a lot of ideas other than Annie coming up, right? How do you pick which ones to work on and which ones you don't?
I think find your why is going to be my answer to that. Why are you working on something? If you're clear about that, that will sort of guide your answers everywhere. Like you may not, I don't know all the answers myself, but I know why I'm doing something, and that helps me make decisions. And it'll also give you a lot of conviction to weather the tough times in whatever decision you choose.
My name is Abhay, and I work as business coach. So now I see that Thinker Labs has a vision to empower the disabled or group of people in around the world, and these people are empowered with literacy, is what your vision is. Now, does this also include people who are, I mean, more than the age of 20? Are you looking for creating an ecosystem where these people can get trained through your devices and then get employed as well? Is that a vision, part of your vision in the future?
Someday, definitely. We're getting requests for adult braille learning. I mean, some people lose their sight much later due to degenerative diseases and things like that. So when they've learned all the sight, like they've learned the normal ABC, print ABC in school, but it doesn't really serve them at that point. So we will get into that at some point in the future. Today our focus is on early childhood literacy and numeracy.
All right, all the very best for Annie, all the very best for the problem that you are solving. As mentioned earlier, before I started, I said that you are definitely going to take back something from this session, and I think it landed well. Thank you very much once again, Sanskriti, and thank you very much to all of you guys.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to Altuni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.